Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Health and Lifestyle Talk Show. This is your host, Sam Quach.
And Yen Cleary, how are you?
Very good, thanks. It's getting a bit cold lately. And today we have a walk-in guest who Yen will be interviewing. So over to you, Yen.
Thanks. Hi, we have Linh Quach here. She's an amazing acupuncturist, really young in her field. She's had amazing results, like someone can come to her with pain, chronic pain, and she can disappear it completely and in the moment as well. So I've had really good results. She's given me therapy as well, and as I have a frozen shoulder and also like a rotator cuff injury. And I had her give me acupuncture for 30 minutes and I could move my arm amazingly compared to when she first saw me. So I want to share with everyone Linh Quach and what she does, and we're going to really get to know her a little bit more right now. Okay, welcome, Linh. How are you?
Hi, Yen. Thank you so much for having me here. I am well, thank you. It's really, really happy for me to be with you. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, we were really looking forward to having you, and then you couldn't come, and then you moved everything to be able to get here. So really thank you and acknowledge you for doing what you had to do to get here today.
Thank you. Thank you.
So let's talk a little bit about what you do, and then we'll talk a little bit about how it all began, and then where you want to go to in the future. Okay.
Yes.
So what is it that you actually do? And let's talk about what acupuncture is first so that our listeners can know.
Okay. So what I do is I studied traditional Chinese medicine for 4 years in the MacArthur campus with University of Western Sydney, now changed their name to Western Sydney University. And I am qualified to practice acupuncture and herbal medicine as well in the Chinese medicine field. And so that's what I do. And your second question was, how does
acupuncture actually work?
How does it work? Okay, so that is a really, really good question. Now, first I want to acknowledge that I'm not Chinese background. I'm Vietnamese background.
Wow.
So the medicine that I've been taught is translated at my university. And there may be some things in the translation that might be like a little bit inaccurate, but I'll explain acupuncture in a modern perspective, because I think that would make a difference.
And I think
to the
that
viewers.
you'll be great with sharing that as well. You're really young, and I know that a lot of the therapies you can explain it really well to me, because I don't understand it, and you've explained it really well. So you'll be great at doing that.
Yes. I try to put it in like a modern perspective. So with acupuncture, what we use are these very thin, refined micro needles that are stainless steel, and we insert it at different parts in the body depending on what you have. So you might have chronic pain, you might have internal manifestations like diarrhea or heart problems or asthma, and how we treat you is by selecting certain points on your body and then inserting the needle there. From a physiological perspective, what it does is that it causes a minor injury to the muscle of that point, and then that would result in increased blood flow. There would be a chemical body reaction to that event. And then
when you insert the needle, the body goes, oh my gosh, I have to do something about it.
Yes, exactly, right? Yeah. And then that's how we are able to manipulate different results from doing that.
Oh. So that needle, does it release energy, or does it bring in energy? What does it do?
This is how I want to interpret it, so that we can understand it a little bit more, because I'm getting it as a non-acupuncturist. Mm-hmm. So you're putting in a needle that your body, it doesn't affect your body in any way once it's gone in, because it's so small and thin that you can put it anywhere. It's not going to cause a blood burst or anything like that.
No, it's not going to make you explode.
Exactly. Your body doesn't even know it's there. But your antibodies and your blood and your all the small little chemical activities in there knows that, there's an issue here. Let's go there, have a look, sort it out, heal the things.
Yep.
Is that right?
So the needle will actually talk to you?
No, the needle causes a minor like a minor bruising, or not really.
But
micro injury.
Micro injury, Sam.
Micro injury.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
A micro
of
injury.
course.
The injury is enough to cause a body reaction, and it's not so severe that your body can't recover from it or heal from it. What happens is that it initiates a recovery process.
That's so good.
And then that process is what produces the results that we want.
Yeah, like if you have a bruise, all the blood rushes there to heal the bruise.
Yeah.
Heal the issue. So it's
Yeah.
the same. That's exciting.
Yeah, it is. And that's like the most simple way that I try to put it. And Sam makes a point when he mentions energy. Now there is energy involved.
Chi?
Chi, yes. We call it chi, but the mistranslation is that it's not energy. I won't go too much into it because I think it will confuse the users, so I'll keep it simple. We cause a micro injury, your body heals from it, and then it gives us the results that we're looking for.
So good, Sam.
I've never tried acupuncture.
What?
Have you?
I love acupuncture. I love
I've got to give it a
it.
go. So it deals with breathing problems as well, anxiety, that kind of stuff.
It's yes, there's a huge variety of things that we can do to the body through acupuncture. There's over 400 acupuncture points on the body, and then we use different combinations for many, many different things. So theoretically, we can treat like a very large number of manifestations in the body. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about an example of someone you've healed. I know there's a fair few of them. Like,
Yes.
yeah. Why don't you give us one really good example, and then we can talk
Sure.
about my arm.
Your shoulder, yes. So a really, really great friend of mine, I'm not going to mention his name on the radio, but a really, really great friend of mine, he suffers from back pain, right? And he, in his work, he drives around a lot. So he doesn't get like physical movement. And he was going through this time where he was really stressed at work and also with family matters. And he had so much pain radiating from the mid back to the lower back of his body, and it was going down his left leg from memory. It radiated down his left leg, and he could only limp. He could barely walk, even from like the door to like the toilet or something. So I asked him to sit down. I gave him a couple of needles in his arm, and within 5 minutes, I asked him to just walk around, keeping his arms straight and not, moving the needles, but walk around and see if he's got like pain relief. And he had, I think it was about 80% pain relief. Like for the first time in that week, he was able to walk around the room without having to limp.
That's a phenomenal result, and instant too. Because as soon as you put a needle in, your body's starting the healing process straight away.
Yes,
yeah.
definitely.
And you leave it in for around about 30 minutes?
Yes, about 30 minutes. So he took a walk around the room 2 or 3 times, and then I asked him to sit back down, and then I adjusted the needles a bit. I think I added 1 or 2 more. And then by the end of 30 minutes, he said the pain had gone completely. And he went home.
Does it hurt?
You mean the needles?
Needles, yeah.
No, it doesn't. Because the needles are so fine and thin. They're as thin as your hair strand. So it might pinch a tiny bit as it goes through the first layer of the skin. But once it goes through that first layer and then it sits in the muscle, you generally don't feel a thing. You might feel some muscle heavy sensation, and that's when your blood and your white cells and your T cells and your B cells, all those chemical reactions are happening in that area. But other than that, you wouldn't experience anything at all.
Amazing.
No discomfort.
Just a little pin that can
Exactly.
do all that kind of stuff.
Exactly, Sam. You should get into it. Let's talk about my arm. That's such a good result for your friend, though.
Yeah, he was extremely happy with it.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I haven't seen him again. He hasn't come back to me and said, the pain's come back.
Good.
He hasn't said anything yet.
Wow, that's so good. Yeah. Okay, so for my arm, so I have an injury from swimming.
Yep.
And that's actually why I called you, so
Yes.
that you could come and sort it out for me really quickly.
Yes.
So I have like mobility issues. So
Yes.
I can do a fair few things, but a lot of times I can't even open my pink chips. It's a packet of chips, pink chips.
The pocket or
so just opening it hurt my shoulder. I'm like, wow. Lynn, I call Lynn up. Lynn, I can't open my pink chips.
It's the body telling you not to eat it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so I couldn't even open my pink chips. That's salt and vinegar chips. Anyway, so Lynn comes over and I'm like, what are we going to do? How are we going to fix this? I was really actually quite upset about it. So I love my swimming and being active. So you came in and what did you do?
Oh, yeah. So, I sat you down and I asked you a couple of questions, like how long have you had it for? What does it feel like? Show me the kind of movements, demonstrate to me what is it, when does it hurt, where does it hurt? And then I would evaluate all of that information, and then I would acupuncture you in the places that would make a difference in that area. And within 5 minutes, I asked you to move your arm a little bit because I didn't put the needles where it hurt. I put it somewhere else.
Yeah.
So then I asked you to move your arm and you said that you could have some extra movement.
Yeah.
And I asked you, okay, so what other movements are you not quite getting? And you told me, and I added a couple more needles, adjusted a little bit, sort of like a cooking recipe, adjusted a little bit, and then you had movement.
Yeah,
you were
so
really happy with it.
I could move my arm, and I can still do it now. There's a lot of movements that I could do, and we've only had 2 sessions.
Yeah,
one at the beach. You can have acupuncture anywhere.
Yes.
So, and I'm really pleased with the results. And I know that I haven't been diligent with following you up and getting another session in, but I'll definitely do that. And I've been able to swim. We went swimming.
Excellent.
Yeah. And I've been trail running and using my arms to trail run. So I've been so happy with it.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
I'm glad.
Yeah. So,
what sort of ailments does acupuncture treat? What's a list?
Okay, well, I'll give you the most common ailments that I encounter in my everyday life with my work. So pain is definitely one, right? Both chronic and acute pain. We're looking at shoulder pain, back pain, maybe even headaches as well, like migraines, pressure behind the eyeballs, heel pain, leg pain, almost any sort of pain. Another common occurrence is also people come to me about stress. So they've got heart palpitations. They've got maybe a little bit of anxiety as well. They are dealing with emotional and mental stress for work and for anything like that. So what I do is that I help them getting through things like, being able to sleep, being able to eat regularly, being able to breathe. So I've had a couple of people come to me for asthma. So Trevor, I believe he's been on this radio. I actually treated him for his asthma, and his feedback to me was for within a week, he had very minimal, almost no asthma episodes within that week, and he was able to breathe freely, and that wasn't possible for him before. He'd been living with it for about 40 years.
Wow.
That's full
After
on.
40 years.
Yeah, so it was really, really massive for him. And personally, my brother has asthma too. So I treated him. He's 16 and I've treated him for that. I also am very passionate about women's health. So helping women regulate their menstruation, relieving pain from menstruation. So that's another pain area that gets commonly addressed. Relieving pain, regulating menstrual cycles so that it's regular, helping people fall pregnant, and helping people relieve other stress factors as well during menstruation.
So great. It's so great. And I really know that you're really good with diet and things like that too.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I give...
Because you tell me the foods that I should and shouldn't eat and things like that. And also the background of how herbal as a treatment it is for food, with regard to food.
Yes. Chinese medicine is grounded in the concept of a prevention. So a lot of the times it is about prevention, and lifestyle is it encompasses our day-to-day life, and it's so much more beneficial for the person for me to educate them and assist them with their lifestyle than to ask them to take medication. I specifically try not to do that unless it's absolutely necessary. It's so much more beneficial to encourage them to have a good lifestyle, take care of yourself, spend time for yourself, and live healthy and live an active life as best as you can.
That's right. And especially, I think that everyone is dealing with pain, chronic pain, all those things. So for me, all those chronic pain and is a communication from our body
Yes.
to tell us, one, drink water,
Yes.
eat something healthy,
Yes.
like fruits, vegetables, high chi life food.
Yes. Fresh food.
Yeah. So, and I think that with your therapy, it needs to have that background of everything else that you do give as well. Because,
Yes.
yeah, when I see you, you also talk about, so what exercise are you doing? What diet are you on? What are you eating? Do you mean? And then that's how,
Yes.
like, I took care of my shoulder with all the other information that you gave me. Which
Yes.
is really good.
It's with Chinese medicine, we relate to the body as a whole, and we factor in many, many, many different areas in your life, and they all matter. So I don't, try to isolate you as like you're this one person, and isolate you from your environment, from your work, from your relationships with people, from your diet, from your exercise. That wouldn't help me to provide the best care and the best possible service for the people that I work with. So yeah, you're absolutely right. It is essential, and it's also a cheap way to help people heal as well. I'm not interested in like making profit for myself. I do need to eat and I do need to pay the bills, but I'm not interested in like taking advantage of people financially. I'll very much rather that I help them as much as I can in this period of time, and then they never have to come and see me again. That makes me extremely happy.
Yeah, that's so great. Okay, what we'll do is we'll take a little break, and when we come back from the break, we'll hear a little bit more about Lynn and her life, how she got to Australia, and then her degree, and then what you plan for after. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, welcome back. Welcome back to the show. I just had a couple of needles stuck into me. That was quite interesting.
Good on you, Sam.
Yeah, hurt a little bit. Just a little bit.
Just a little bit pinch when it goes through the first layer, right?
Yes, it did.
Yeah.
And I had to take it out because I was worried I was going to bump it into something.
Yes, and since you're operating from the radio,
That's
it's
right,
a responsible
yeah.
thing to do.
I can,
He's just chicken. He's just chicken.
all right, we'll give it a go later again.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Oh, but how's your breathing though? Because he had it because he wanted to have a bit more clearing in your breathing.
It did. I don't know if that was a placebo effect or was it...
Okay, so what was your breathing like before and what's it like now?
It's actually a little bit better, but I don't know if that's in my mind, so I'll see.
Okay, all right.
How long do you have to have it in for?
About 30 minutes at least.
For
30 minutes.
Good results, is it?
Yes. For the results to fully take effect.
Okay,
yes.
right.
And I would insert a bit more. So I gave you 2 small ones just to give you a little bit of an experience, but I would insert more.
Yeah.
To have like a full therapeutic effect. It's kind of like cooking. You can't really cook anything with 2 ingredients. You got to have more than that.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll give it a go again later on.
Sure.
Yep.
Yeah, just after this segment. No more chicken, Sam. Oh, well, welcome back. Welcome back. Thank you, Lynn, for being here. We're going to talk a little bit about how it all began for you.
Yes.
I know that your parents are refugees.
Yes.
And same as myself and Sam's family as well. So, how was it for you? How did you come over here and then become like, we want to know your story before and then, your success now.
Oh, yes. So it all started when both of my parents decided to get on a boat and leave Vietnam.
Yes.
Right? And now this story was told back to me. I was way too young to remember anything. So this is just literally quoted from my parents. They met each other at the Malaysian refugee camp in Kuala Lumpur.
Oh, it's a refugee camp love story.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
wow.
they met there and they lived together. I don't know how long, but they lived together.
In the refugee camp?
In the refugee camp, yes.
Wow.
And I was born in 1994, right? So what my parents told me was that at the time they were being interviewed to be approved to live in developed countries like Australia, America, Europe, and they had me so that if they were to be separated, they would be able to find each other again.
Oh, that's so lovely.
Yes.
Wow.
So I was kind of like a symbol of their love.
Yeah.
And so my father was accepted into Australia in 1995, and my mother stayed in the refugee camp when he left. And eventually she I think it was after about 6 or 8 months, she decided to come back to Vietnam because the living conditions there were getting worse. And especially with the...
In Malaysia?
Yes, in Malaysia.
Oh, wow.
So especially, raising a child by herself.
In a camp?
And I was probably 6 to 8 months. And, I would hear stories that she tells me where I would get sick, and it would really stress her a lot because she didn't know if I was going to live or not. And it stressed her a lot also because the camp had like limited medical facilities.
Wow.
So that was what, the hardship that she had to go through. And it was a hard decision for her to choose to go back to Vietnam and, live in Vietnam with her family for 2 years. And not only did she live there, but she also had to endure the kind of like the attitude that the people had towards her.
Because she left and had to come back?
It wasn't just that she left and she had to come back. She came back. She left when she was a virgin and she was single. And she came back with a kid and she wasn't married.
Yeah.
So then in the view, she lived in a rural community. So in that view, it was shameful. It was bad and wrong. It was like, like they were telling her like my dad wasn't going to come back for her. He was going to leave her forever. And I was like, I was a liability, and it wasn't really positive.
Wow. So she lived through that.
Yeah, she did. And she endured that for 2 years while my dad was here, waiting for his citizenship so that he could have the authority to sponsor us to come over to Australia. And, with little money, she had to do I'm getting a little bit...
Yeah, emotional. Me too. Don't worry. I think most of our guests do get emotional, so it's okay.
Yeah, she had to, do what she needed to do to support me and her from a war-torn country in rural Vietnam, southern Vietnam, and also hold the hope that, there was a brighter future for us.
It's a real love story here.
It is. So 1997 came, and my father had a citizenship and he came back to Vietnam and he organized a wedding, which was unusual because most people don't get married once they had kids, but he organized a wedding so that he could honor who she was for him in front of everybody so that they would, basically shut up.
Wow.
And also...
So throughout the 2 years... Well, I've got to wipe away my tears here. This is all emotional. So in the 2 years that your mum was with you in Vietnam...
Yes.
You would have seen a lot of things because as a 2-year-old...
I do have some memories as a 2-year-old. I have memories of, like, playing with other kids and like dancing in the rain naked because that's what you do in that part of Vietnam. And I have some very small flashbacks of like having dinner with my uncles and aunties or having like a motorbike ride.
Wow.
Or even I went to school. Like they started school really, really early in Vietnam.
They do.
Yeah, so I was learning how to write the alphabet and pronouncing it and, writing the tones and everything. So I have some very small memories of that. I even have a small memory of when we did come to Australia and we were at the airport and I was sitting on the trolley and I was, being like really, really... in Vietnamese, we call it nhũng nhẽo.
Yeah. Oh, like suki.
Yeah, suki with both of my parents because my dad's here and I haven't seen him in a while.
Wow.
And my mom, I still remember her. She was dressed in this beautiful pink suit, tailored for her. And we came to Australia, in the summer of December 1997. And, that was like the beginning of the new journey in Australia.
Wow, it's lovely. So beautiful. I'm glad you came here and you're making a difference to hundreds of people that I know you do. The other thing is, in the 2 years that your mum was in Vietnam, did they get communication?
Yeah, they did.
They talked to each other?
They did. They wrote letters. They might have had phone calls, I'm not sure, but definitely letters. And my dad did try to support financially from time to time so that, we know that like we're not completely alone.
Yeah.
So there was some communication.
That's so great. Wow, isn't that a love story for you to
Yes,
be moved by?
when I saw Lynn, I thought she was my sister because we got the same surname.
Yeah, they do. They have the same last name.
So somewhere,
Sam Quach, Lim Quach.
we're related somewhere.
Yeah.
Oh, and here's another funny fact as well. His mother's maiden name is Huyn, and my mother's
right.
maiden name is also Huyn.
Uh-oh.
I think my parents got someone mixed up there.
That's so
I have a
good.
long lost sister.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Oh, so lovely. And so did you straight away come to Cabramatta? I know like you've grown up and lived and studied
Yes.
all your life in Cabramatta.
Yes, I grew up in Cabramatta.
So was your dad already in Cabramatta and you
Yes.
brought your mum over and there?
Yes,
That's
yes.
such a great place to be though.
I still remember the street name of our first home, which is McBurney Road in Cabramatta West.
Don't tell me I lived in McBurney Road as well.
I think you are brothers and sisters.
This is
Oh,
getting
God.
a little bit
Yeah.
interesting.
Oh, well, all human beings, I think that we cross paths because, it's called we have a
Yeah.
debt. And then, when you're not with them anymore, you've paid off your debt.
Yeah.
It's more a feng shui kind of Vietnamese thing.
Yeah, like a superstitious kind of way to describe how events happen, how people come together and all of that.
So it's like once you meet each other, there's a debt there that you have. And then once you're not together anymore or haven't met and things like that, there's a debt that's not
Yeah,
repaid.
you either
Yeah.
paid it off or you created more.
Yeah, that's right. So there might be a debt or something here.
Well, I would have said that he owes me.
Yeah, I think so because he's giving
Hey,
you a service.
I was here first, all right? I was born before you.
It's so great.
Okay, good point there.
You came here to owe me.
Maybe.
Well, that's so great. And so you were really great at school because I remember that your mum told me that you had an award and because they didn't really speak a lot of English
Yeah.
and things like that, they
Yeah.
didn't know that award, what it was. Mm-hmm. And they were like, oh, not a big deal or anything. And they came to your ceremony.
Yeah.
You were really young.
Yep.
And it was like, I don't know, was it like Student of the Year or something really huge?
Yep. I think it was student of the class probably. Yeah. To be honest, I've had quite a number of awards, so
yeah.
I can't really remember.
Yeah,
which
but
one.
the thing is, because their language barrier is so really strong, that they attend your things and they don't really know what it is, and
Yep.
then in speaking to other people in broken English and things like that,
Yep.
that they found out on their own that it was one of the biggest deals, and they didn't know that of their own child.
Yeah.
So when she told me that story, how much she really loves and respects you and that she understands that you've had a hard life, it was really moving to me. So your parents actually know that you're pretty phenomenal.
Thank you.
Yeah. So it's for me, yeah, as a Aussie kind of parents, because my children are your age really. My daughter's turning 20, you're
Yep.
turning 23.
Yep.
My daughter's 18. Like, I know all the big deal stuff, and when I go to them, I know that it's a big deal.
Yeah.
But for your parents, they didn't really know. They didn't really know you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it was part of it was that I wasn't really that vocal with them about my accomplishments.
Yeah.
Because I just like I was really, really thirsty for knowledge and to learn. I was one of those kids that was just like, teach me more, teach me more.
You're still like that. You're still like that.
Which is what I love Chinese medicine, because it's always learning something every single day, and there's like a mountain with no top. There's never a place to get to. And yeah, I was maybe I was a little bit shy about it as well, so that's why I didn't really like brag to my parents. And also at a very young age, my one of the values that they taught me was to be humble.
Yeah.
Right? And that it wasn't always about like me, like look at me, how good am I? It was also about appreciation and gratitude. So when I would accomplish these things, I would appreciate it in my own quiet way, rather than, like being very loud and vocal with them.
You have Einstein as a child without knowing, really.
I wouldn't say that though.
No, that's exactly what it is. I think that that's the future, that you are like altering what it is, medicine. Do you get that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're leading the way with regard to altering what medicine actually is.
Yeah, I have goals to continue I do want to work with people for now, but I do have goals to continue further studies, to do a master's and possibly a PhD as well.
Of course.
I do want to make cheap and sustainable medicine available to people. I think that what would make a real difference to people is a great quality of life, and that's what there is to endorse. I'm not interested in, finding like this golden cure or anything like that. It's having great quality of life and enjoying yourself every day.
Wow. We do love your tenacity, making a difference to people, really standing for humans being healthy, being free from pain. I really support you 100% of the way, and it's such a bright future. You're only 23, already leading the way with regard to Chinese medicine, acupuncture, diet, and things like that. So where do you see the future of medicine and where you will be?
That is a really, really great question. Well, I'll start with where I see myself, where I would be. Like I said, I do want to... My ultimate goal is to teach at a university.
Oh, great.
Because I do love teaching. I love, love, love teaching.
And you have taught me how to put 3 needles in for energy. I know how to do that, Sam. I'll put needles in you now.
I'll show you.
No, I'm not going to let you. You haven't been trained by Lin yet.
I do love teaching. My father was a teacher in Vietnam, and when I was young, he would teach me everything. He would teach me how to write, how to speak. He would teach me Vietnamese, and he would teach me English. He would teach me, when I go grocery shopping with him, he would show me all these different herbs and all these different fruits, and test me on their names. And when at night time, when he's home from work and he's exhausted, he'll have me massage his hands because they were really calloused and cold and hardened from hard work. And he would have me recite the timetable.
Oh, so great.
From 1 all the way to 12. Yeah. And so, that's where I think my love of teaching and wanting to contribute to other people and watching people grow. And watching people, there's a metaphor where it's like you can give a man a fish and feed him for a day, or you could teach him how to fish and have him feed him for the rest of his life. And that's where the real sense of satisfaction and fulfillment comes from. Like I said, a lot of the values I have comes from my father and also my mother, of their the humble upbringing and their hardship and their courage to give me the life that I have now.
Yeah, I really acknowledge your parents. I just feel moved every time we talk about your parents. So.
Yeah.
And then it's a real acknowledgement to you and who you are and what you stand for.
I'm sure that everything that I have is directly from them, like how I do things, how I think, the values that I have for people, wanting to make a difference to people. It really came from them.
Yeah. And just a few little things. You have 2 brothers.
Yes, I
2
do.
Smaller brothers.
Yes,
that I know that you brought them up.
In my own way, I think so.
Yeah, because there's a big age gap and you did a lot for them. So.
Yeah, it's just a quick story. I didn't know this until recently. My mother told me that my parents' plans were just to have me as a love connection for when they were separated, and then that was it, right? And I remember being like this 5 or 4-year-old girl who, I'm living in Australia. We were poor. We didn't really have much. And that's okay. I accepted it. I understood that my parents loved me and that was all that I needed. And in the logic of a 4-year-old, I thought, what could I have that's not going to cost any money?
Oh, no. You wanted brothers?
Yeah. So the brother was the logical thing to have. And so I remember begging them.
They did that for you.
Yeah, they gave me a brother and then another one, which is really fantastic. So I relate to my brother like mine. I relate to him like I asked for him. I asked for him, and so great. We grew up with each other. We did everything with each other. Played video games, fight over toys.
So great. We love your story. We love having you here, Lin. So if everyone wanted to get acupuncture from you, get coaching from you, how do we get in contact with you?
Oh, yeah. So right now I'm working in Pinnacle Clinic, Pinnacle Health Clinic in Parramatta.
Yep.
So I don't have the number on me, but this I can give my...
Yeah, give your personal number.
Yeah, so my personal number is 0410904836.
Again?
That's 0410904836. And...
Slowly. Okay, do the 4 and then the 3 and the 3 numbers.
Okay, so 0410904836.
Yay!
Yes. Feel free to contact me. My email is Lynn, which is spelled LINH, full stop, QUACH, number 3, @gmail.com.
Thank you so much, Lynn. Any questions or anything else from you, Sam?
Oh, I'm just going to give this acupuncture thing another shot.
He's going to try it again now.
He's excited.
And he's looking like a little small child at a
Man,
at a
can
candy
you get
bar.
addicted to having needles stuck into you?
It feels so
Possibly.
good. It feels so good. It feels like you're having a real deal deep massage.
Yeah.
And everything just feels so relaxed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks so much for being here, Lynn.
Thank
we
you so
love
much
you.
for having here.
Awesome, guys. Thanks, Yen, for the interview. And thanks to Linh Quach to tell us more about acupuncture. It's great to have you on. And we'll be bringing you more health professionals in the next few weeks. So stay tuned for another edition of the Health and Lifestyle Talk Show. And thank you for all listening in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you.
Bye-bye.